Hello everybody out in YouTube land, Papa Church. Well, this right here, folks, will be the last video you see me do. I don't care who comes back and says what or how or when. This is it for me. I'm not a YouTuber. Unfortunately, it was an attempt to reach out to my son, who I think is having a breakdown due to the fame. Not really the fame, but what comes along with it. The stress. He's handled it so well for years, but I've sat and I've debated over everything and sitting and taking the time to think about what I know and the way his life has been. I think the stress has finally got to my son, Ryan. I think the stress from people who are fake as fake can be, the fake friends. I think, when you feel like nobody's real and everybody in your world is fake, in Ryan's own words, he said, I don't have a friend anymore. Everybody wants something. They may come to my house and act excited to see me, but before they leave, they have interest in something I own or ask me to help them do something. And there's been lots of family members that have acted like he's the bank, and I guess what I'm trying to say is the pressure from everything of the fame and fortune. Ryan done it on his own. He's an incredible artist. He has crazy writing skills. We knew that from the very beginning. But I think, and I may be wrong, I have no idea because I still have no contact with Ryan. But I think the pressure from the business and the people around him, not just the immediate people around him, but all the people around him, come at him for money and cars and trucks. And you old heads out there, man, when that old kind ass old boy starts just handing out stuff, man, it's like feeding a fucking cat. They don't go away. But anyways, my thing there is just, I don't really know what's going on with Ryan still. I don't know. I have a clue what I've done to him for this to start, but I'm scratching it up in my head that the stress of it all has finally got to him. But I'd like to say something to Uncle Will. You caught me on a bad day, Hoss. I had spent a month trying to reach out to my son to find out what was going on. I was being told things that a father don't want to hear about his son. It sounded to me like he needed some major mental help, and that he might be a threat to himself. And probably hadn't slept in a good week. No real sleep. I couldn't reach out to him. He's cutting brothers off, and I just couldn't get an answer from anybody. And then that video came out where he was ranting again, and then I see Uncle Will's video, and I still to this day, I believe that a man should keep his nose out of another man's business. Ryan Upchurch is my son, no matter what anybody says. He's Patty's son, no matter what anybody says. And to be quite honest, it's nobody's business what's going on. And I know Ryan is the one that stuck it out there for whatever reason. I still, to this day, I do not know where I come involved in this whole thing. And if Ryan, if you're listening, son, I just would love just you to answer that for me in any form or fashion. I don't wish anything bad on you. You know that. But getting back to Uncle Will, I'm sorry. This video may go sidetracked 5 times. I'm just some old dumb fucker that paints for a living. But I called you a stupid motherfucker. No, I'm sorry. I called you a stupid son of a bitch. And I'll be quite honest, man. After I calmed down later that day and thought about that, I really and truly felt like a piece of shit. And I'll tell you why. Because that's one thing that I will not tolerate for anything. I've got the best mother in the world. My mother was God sent for sure. Anybody that knows who my mother is don't have one bad word to say about her. And my mom used to beat every kid's ass in the neighborhood. And that's no shit. I've got friends today that when we were kids, they hated my mom. But they ask me about her every time I see them. You know, they love my mom. She's just the best thing ever. Anyways, that's me getting sidetracked again. Man, I called you a sorry son of a bitch. And I'm trying to give you a heartfelt apology. I don't like the fact that you stick your nose in my business. And I'm telling you, brother, I'm stressed out to the max at the moment. But I hope you accept it. And if you don't, I'm sorry. Truly. When I was 16 years old, I got into it with old boy at West Park, community I grew up in. And it was words exchanged and a couple punches. And he got the worst end of the deal. And I got about a block away, and he called me a son of a bitch. Now, to me, all you're saying is my mama's a bitch. And I'll never forget that day. I chased the kid down, caught him in a basketball court outside. And when he curled up in a ball after I beat on him for 5 minutes, I was so angry I stomped his head until my parents had to pay for an eye surgery. You know, that's just how it was in my neighborhood. Somebody didn't, you know, when the fight was over, the guy that got his ass beat didn't get up and walk home. You know, he didn't get up at all for 30 minutes, an hour. Somebody came and got him. He went to the hospital. That's just the way it was in my neighborhood. Now, I'm not claiming to be a badass. I'm not that guy. I don't start shit. I never have. You know, I've learned over the years, you know, a man can say anything. It's when he puts his hands on you, that's the difference. You know, people can say whatever they want about me. The older I've got, the softer I've got, and I thank God for that. I have been on the verge of killing a couple people. God's honest truth. I had a knife in a guy's stomach in Bellevue one night, ready to rip him open. And the boy was supposed to be one of the meanest people around Bellevue. I went by myself, literally. I got him down in some bushes, and I went to rip him clean open. And the fear in his eyes, the boy started crying. And I spit in his face and walked away. The second guy shot at me. That's a fucked up feeling. I chased him for about 2.5 miles through the woods. Ryan will remember this. He got shot at too. When they shot at me, it scared me to death. I didn't know they had a gun. But when they shot at my son, he jumped back in his truck and took off back to the house. I was so furious that they shot at my son